Burks up top. Pass stolen by Lowry on the double.
Double dribble.
And then the double dribble by Pascal Siakam.
Yeah. What a great play by Kyle Lowry. Pascal right here looking at.
Welcome back to the Airborne Podcast. I'm your host, Ajit. That's Big Boy Bravs with us. We got Thanos back on the podcast. The Raptors drop another one to the New York Knicks, of all teams.
The Nickel Bombers.
102-96. And the Raptors clawed their way back into this game and eventually got the lead. They were up 7 in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, Malachi Flynn's three in the corner didn't count because he said he was out of bounds, but his heel looked like, on the replay, it wasn't touching, but
yeah,
it is what it is. And that was like a huge momentum swing because I gave him back hope, because right after Rodney Hood hit that three, it was a 7-point lead and the bench was hyping. Everyone was going crazy.
Yeah.
And then they go into the timeout and then they come back, and my brother was saying this. He's like, yo, why is it only 4 points? And I was confused for a bit there too, but then they explained it at the end, and that's all she wrote. Julius Randle.
We got robbed, yo. We got robbed. That play that you just mentioned, Malachi Flynn's
three.
Foot, I don't think it touched. Like, I was looking at it and I zoomed in, and to me it seemed like his heel was above the line. It didn't touch the line at all. So whoever went back to the replay board and to check it is stupid, yo. Because to me it didn't look like a touch.
Yeah, I don't. Like, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, that could have went either way, but it looked like it was good from our end, even on the replay. It is what it is. Raptors lose another one. The New York Knicks are in playoff contention, so it's not like we lost to a bad team this year. Julius Randle, an all-star, was killing everybody on the Raptors, making crazy shots, hanging in the air. He made Pascal look like a newbie, to be honest. Pascal struggled to start the game. I think he was like one for 9 at one point in the game. And then he finally started getting it going in the second half. But his three-point shot was nowhere to be found, really.
It hasn't been there for a few games now?
Yeah.
Yo, one thing I want to say that I keep mentioning is we got to change our mindset about the whole game plan for Pascal Siakam. I don't think it's working. We've gone to him for game winners, not once, not twice, but almost 4 to 5 times on the season.
Spinning! Doesn't go. Spinning. Shot up. Doesn't go. Tapped up. Here's Pascal. There he goes. Driving. Thompson. 2 seconds to go. Lowry. Pascal. The three. Pass stolen by Lowry on the double. Double dribble by Pascal.
5 times on the season, and he hasn't been successful. So I don't know why we keep going back to him, right? The emergence of Gary Trent Jr., we should be like, all right, you know what? Let's go back to hot hand. We trust him. Let's go. Yeah, Gary Trent Jr. just did miss an open. I think it was open 2 near the final stretch. But Siakam is missing, right? He's not clutch anymore, right?
I don't think Siakam was trying to take the last shot. I felt like he was trying to pass it, but even trying to do that, he caused a double dribble.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's during that speed, it's kind of hard to make that pass. But I don't know. It just
not just that. Not just that. Before you go, Keith, one thing I want to mention is we had chances to go ahead or tie it, and Pascal Siakam had the ball, and instead of going in, driving in, and whatever, he'd take a shot and they'll miss, or it'd be a terrible shot. So man, this guy needs to get his head out of the gutter and needs to get back into the pre-bubble or be more consistent.
Shout out to Dylan, because I talked to him, and I talked to him today after the game, and he's like, whatever Pascal's smoking, I want that. He's like, the man doesn't know how to play basketball really anymore. He's played a couple games recently, like the Golden State game, specifically on his birthday, where he did well, and he's very efficient. But the problem with that situation was we had an opportunity to tie the game with Lowry getting a big steal, then going on the fast break, but it was kind of his fault too to give Pascal the ball in a situation like that. He's the point guard. He should have controlled the possession and pulled it back.
Yeah,
Controlled the pace. Pascal he saw Gary Trent Jr. in the corner, but the problem was he saw Bullock come right back.
Yeah,
And if he had passed that ball, whether he turned the ball over or not, it would have been a turnover to Bullock either way.
for sure.
But I feel like either Pascal or Kyle Lowry should have pulled that ball back and done a proper play at that point. At least
Yeah, should have stepped back, control it a bit, slow it down, because you had time, right?
whether it was to call a timeout or I don't even remember if they had a timeout, but if they pulled it back, and the defense.
Oh, no, they did. They had a timeout.
No, they did. Okay.
Because you remember when they got fouled, Julius got fouled. They called a timeout after that.
So yeah. So the set defense, like even if the Raptors like pulled the ball out in that last possession with Pascal and Kyle Lowry, I feel like they could have, even if they called the timeout, at least they had a final shot to take to at least win the game or tie the game and push it to overtime, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, I mean, everyone's bashing Pascal Siakam right now for the whole turning the ball over, double dribbling, and he did. That's at the end of the day, he did. But I mean, it wasn't. I can't blame him, man. Like,
no, but it wasn't just that one play though. Like I said, right? Like it's a collective of plays that like that just was the shit show, right? Like
just shows.
Dribble,
yeah.
No, I was like I was saying that double dribble was a key moment. It was a turning point, Like he messed up. Like that double dribble cost us pretty much the game, right? But then there are also other elements throughout the fourth quarter that like he is messed up on. Like I said, right? We could have increased the lead. We could have like tied it, and he had the ball, but he missed it, right? He missed that three. Or I can't remember exactly the play, but there were plays I was like, what the F, right? Like, why the hell is Siakam? Why does he have the ball, right? I don't know. I do agree with you saying that, cut the slack, but it wasn't that one play that made me so furious about the way he plays, right? There's so many other collective plays.
Yeah, but going on with Bravs, I feel like Siakam needs to like have that mentality, like just like start setting the tone, like because he's known as our number one option, but he's not really our number one option.
Yeah.
But like if he wants to make that statement, he's got to be able to go like showcase his skills, like even before like the first when Kawhi was there, or even after Kawhi left, he showcased so many moves. Like we thought he was actually gonna emerge into an actual superstar. I don't even know where that went now.
To his credit, I mean he's only played basketball for about 10 years now. But the one thing is that it's easier to be able to go one-on-one when no one knows you're going to improve like that to that extent, right? Like that was the first time when we traded for Kawhi Leonard. It was between Pascal and OG to get that starting role, and Pascal got it. And no one had a scouting report on him because no one knew he was going to make that much of a leap.
Yeah.
And Kawhi was the number one guy. They're always going to focus on him, so there's never going to be a double team for Pascal.
Yeah,
because Kawhi demands so much attention. So,
but yeah, like that's true. But like I feel like when he has like those mismatches, he doesn't really take advantage of those mismatches. I feel like he just struggles and just shoots it. Like when he doesn't know what to do, he just shoots it and like misses half the time.
But his expectations, like no expectations to expectations, like high expectations now, right? Before he was on a rookie contract, so he was able to do whatever he wanted. Like no one expected him to do a lot. So when he outperformed what he was capable of, people were like, giving him a round of applause or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that we're paying him 130 million for 4 years,
expectations are here now.
Yeah, because he's making 30 plus million a year. So people are like, yo, why are we paying this guy that much money if he's gonna be like this on the court? But it's just unfortunate that the season basically for him has been all about missing clutch shots at the end of the game, and he's had about 4 or 5, and it's adding up, and it's putting more pressure on him because he was labeled as a franchise guy moving forward, that he was going to be the number one option. And I feel like Masai made a mistake by labeling him that too early without letting him have a couple of years to kind of showcase that.
For sure. No, I agree with you. I agree. I think it got to his head now. You know what I mean?
Everyone in that championship year was just hyping him up, and that kind of got, overhyped. Exactly. Yeah. But back to the game. I mean, on the New York Knicks side, fellow Canadian RJ Barrett.
Yeah,
big ups to him, yo. He's
big shout out to thing. Yeah, man. That guy hit some tough shots.
He had some. He was marking us from the corner 3, and he clutched one at the end to dagger us to put him up 4.
That put the game away, yo. That little dagger.
Yeah,
he looks a lot different compared to his first year.
Yeah, he's more comfortable now.
Yeah.
He said it himself. He didn't make the all rookie team, and he was pissed. And he's like, "I'm coming back because I took that personal." And then Julius Randle, a lot of people wrote him off. He was a high draft pick. I think the 7th pick in the 2014 draft by the Lakers. Kind of a journeyman, and now he's kind of found his place at the Madison Square Garden.
Yo, whatever he did this offseason, yo, like, yo, keep doing that shit, yo. Look at that shit developed his game huge.
He's shooting 40% from 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even only that. He's pretty much doing everything. Like he's facilitating, getting rebounds. He's doing everything I wish Siakam can actually do himself.
Word.
Big ups to him though. And he's helping the New York Knicks make that playoff push.
They got a jump in Randle.
They both look confused and lost last season. But this year with the assistants and Tom Thibodeau at the head of the snake, and him focused mainly on defense and whatnot, like these guys are really playing their asses off and they're showing it. Even though like the record right now is hovering around 500.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it from 4 to like 10 or 4 to 11, I mean there isn't that much gap of a difference. There isn't that much of a difference in terms of the games that they're behind. I didn't want to get into the stats about the New York Knicks and the Raptors game. The Raptors, from the get-go, the first quarter, they only scored 16 points. They allowed 27. Their first quarter scoring was horrendous.
Yo, we were down for the majority of the game, yo.
That's what I'm saying. So when we did get the lead at one point, I think it was 81-80. Everyone was like, "Oh shit, this is it. This is time." And normally the Raptors fans at this point, when we get the lead in a game, it's like, "Oh shit, we're pretty confident we're going to win this game." Or even the past couple seasons, like the Raptors have always been able to sustain the lead and not give it up. And most nights when they come back from behind, they're able to win those games as well. This season, unfortunately, hasn't gone our way, and the Raptors lose another one to the New York Knicks. They're a division rival, and even though it was only a 2-position game loss, a loss is a loss. And Kyle Lowry in his return scored 19.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. And we got Freddie Gillespie sighting and also a Canadian sighting in Kem Birch. He scored 4 points for the game, but he's obviously he has to get used to the system.
Yeah, I think he's a bit rusty.
Yeah, but a Kem Birch signing and a Kem Birch sighting means Aaron Baines benching. And Aaron Baines was nowhere to be found last night. And Ravs, I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air. Know that Aaron Baines didn't get no minutes last night.
You can't see it, but I'm smiling.
Yeah, I didn't tell your face that though.
I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad that we finally got Kem Birch. Just the presence of Baines was pissing me off. Like I told you in every video, if you've been watching, he doesn't contest. He just too slow on his feet. He doesn't.
He just stands there.
Yeah, he stands there like a landmark, yo. Like he just stands like a Statue of Liberty and does this. Like contest the ball, like move your feet.
Boxing or nothing.
That's what I want to talk about with Kem Birch. He got a couple offensive rebounds. He had a nice couple finishes. Yeah. And Derrick Rose had him on the isolation at one point, and this guy stuck with them. On the defense.
Move your feet, you. That's good. Move your feet.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't really ask for anything else. The leading scorer for the New York Knicks, though, was Julius Randle with 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
And for the game, the New York Knicks shot 40%, 35 of 88 from the field, and they held the Raptors to only shooting 42% from the field, 33 of 79. Raptors only made 11 threes out of 34 attempts from beyond the arc for 32%. And the Knicks weren't any better. They actually only made 9 3-pointers out of 35 attempts for 26% from beyond the arc.
Oh, geez.
Free throw shooting, the Raptors shot 83% from the line, 19 to 20. And the New York Knicks actually got 27 attempts, so 4 more than the Raptors. They made 23 out of 27 for 85% from the line. Rebounding, the Knicks had 46 rebounds for the game. Raptors only had 40, so the Raptors are -6 in that category. Raptors only had 5 offensive rebounds. Knicks had 11. Raptors are also -6 from the offensive rebounding category. Assists, both teams are tied at 19 apiece. Steals, the Raptors had 8. Knicks had 9, so Raptors are -1. Raptors had 7 blocks. Knicks only had 4. Raptors are +3. Turnovers, Raptors had 15 for the game. Knicks had 13 turnovers, so Raptors were a -2 in that category. Points in the paint, Raptors had 40 points in the paint. Knicks had 48. The Raptors are -8. And second chance points, we got killed yesterday. The Raptors had 6 second chance points. The New York Knicks had 17, so the Raptors are minus 11. And fast break points, the Raptors only had 7, Knicks had 8, so the Raptors are minus 1.
Yeah.
Points off turnovers, the Raptors had 14, the Knicks had 25, so the Raptors are minus 11. Biggest lead for the Raptors in this game was 4. For the Knicks, it was 18. And personal fouls, Raptors at 23. The New York Knicks only had 19. Those are the team stats, but yeah, for the most part, I feel like we got murked in every category.
I think go on.
We lost every category in this game, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I know. But what I was saying was, even though we lost this game, I felt like the biggest lead that game was 18, right?
Mhm.
I felt like we did our best to come back, and like we
Yeah.
showed, like it's those games. Like I don't mind at this point. I don't care about. I'd rather tank at this point because we're not going to really do anything in the playoffs. But I want it to be close games. I don't want it to be a blowout because I want these teams to know that we're still the Raptors. We're still like NBA champions, you know.
100%.
And
I
like,
agree with you.
yeah,
I don't want
like,
to
I
go
don't
back
want-
to that old identity
Yeah.
of losing and shit.
Yeah, like I don't want to lose by like 30 points to like playoff teams.
Word. I agree with you.
With Messiah at the head of the snake for us, we're not going to be known as that team anymore. And at that point, we hadn't even achieved anything. In these 7 years, it was 7, 8 years. These were the best years for the Raptors. And we've been winning 50-win seasons every year.
Yeah.
We have an NBA championship under our belt. Players are going to come to the Raptors and sign with the Raptors and play for this team.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a matter of time. We just got unfortunate with the signings of some of the key players from this upcoming free agency class.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But, if we don't make the playoffs this year, we get young assets and either we use them in a trade or, we develop and we start over.
I just feel like after winning that championship, I feel like it's opened another door for us for like other, like what you said, other free agents to come in and see like, yo, this franchise is not that bad, like we can probably win a championship.
I mean, everyone always knew, even when we were losing, we had an amazing fan base.
Yeah.
But the thing is that with the Raptors going on the biggest stage in the NBA Finals, it really showed the global landscape, everybody around the world, how big our fans are, or how far our fans literally travel.
Yeah.
Word.
And NBA players, they gravitate towards that because they see the support, not just from a state, but a whole country. Right?
Before you
That's a
go
lot.
to the next point, I want to go back to Norman Powell. Like, I saw a little video today of like Norman Powell praising Toronto like nonstop. Like I haven't heard a player who left Toronto and praised so much. Besides,
He misses us so much.
yeah, like Danny Green praises us. Like Norman Powell praises us. Like all these guys who are leaving our team in the past 5-10 years are praising us versus people like Carter, McGrady. Like you don't really hear them praising us. They'll be like, all right, you know what?
I think McGrady regretted leaving though.
Yeah. Like later on, you know what I mean? But like now,
Yeah.
players saying, "Yo, I'm gonna miss Toronto. Toronto is sick." Blah blah blah. Like it gives as fans we're like, yeah, Toronto. That identity of Toronto won't go away because people who leave Toronto, the players who leave Toronto now are saying, "Yo, Toronto's actually a hidden gem. It's actually pretty dope."
But that's the thing, though, now that I think about it, looking back at it, like Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Chris Bosh, even Steve Nash, when he was one of the first Canadians to come into the NBA as a high draft pick and whatnot, Canadian basketball wasn't really there like it is now, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like think about it. Vince Carter was one of the first players on the roster to play at the ACC.
Yeah.
In '98, right?
Yeah.
And so basketball wasn't really known at that time, even when the franchise opened in '95, '96.
Mm-hmm.
Like Damon Stoudemire was getting booed when he got drafted because no one had absolutely any clue about basketball, really.
They're so stupid.
And then once the culture came around, now you see how big basketball is in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of players nowadays, the younger players that are coming into the NBA are gravitating towards playing for Toronto. Because think about it, Toronto in 10 years from now, they're still going to be one of those recent teams that actually won an NBA championship, right?
Word. I agree.
We were the last team to win a championship
Before the new decade.
I know, and before COVID started.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
We were the last team to win an NBA championship when the world was still normal.
Word.
And we couldn't even get a proper celebration. We didn't have a proper world tour because of COVID.
Yeah.
Chris Boucher in 30 minutes had 17 points, 14 rebounds, no assists, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 1 of 3 from the three-point line with 4 blocks. No steals, though. Pascal Siakam in 35 minutes had 16 points, no rebounds, 7 assists, 5 of 18 from the field, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line with 2 blocks, no steals. Kyle Lowry in his first game back from the toe infection injury. 37 minutes, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 of 10 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line with 3 steals, no blocks. But he did have 5 turnovers. Gary Trent Jr. was the leading scorer for this team. He got hot at one point yesterday in that game.
Yeah.
And in 35 minutes, he had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 9 of 17 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 of 8 from the 3-point line, no steals, no blocks, which means no defensive stats. Those are the main guys. And then you had guys like Yuta Watanabe who looked pretty good yesterday. If he can, I mentioned this in the previous video, if he can get consistent with that offense, he's definitely going to carve out a solid bench role for himself. If he can knock down the solid 3, a consistent 3, he's going to get a position. He's going to get a role on this team for sure. Because he plays his ass off on the defensive end. He hustles. Yeah. He does everything right. It just his offense needs to catch up with him.
He's like Rondé, but the Chinese
he's all hard. I rate him.
Rondé wishes he had Yuta Watanabe's shooting for him. Malachi Flynn didn't get to start yesterday with Lowry's return, but 26 minutes, he had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
I like the way how Kyle Lowry and Freddie are like taking Malachi under his wing. You know, there's a little clip out there that after timeout, during timeout, Kyle Lowry brings Flynn over and his mentors him. You know what I mean? So like that seeing that kind of stuff is like pretty amped because you see there's a future and you have like people like Kyle Lowry who's like stepping up and like being a good leader.
Yeah. Lowry was a late first round pick when he came into the league, and he didn't have a role for himself. Fred VanVleet was an undrafted player, didn't have a role for himself. The Raptors gave him both chances, gave him both life. They made their name off the Toronto Raptors, playing for the Raptors. VanVleet one time did say, I don't feel like Malachi Flynn would have been a type of player that anyone would have drafted had he not been a success story in the league with the way he's come up, right? And that's why he was able to get picked by a team like the Raptors as a late first round pick. He's not an undersized guard, but he's not tall. He's 6'2", probably 6'1". And that's where they're taking him under their wing and kind of showing him the ropes. And also Nick Nurse was also coaching him on the side as well, which I think I saw that at one point in the game. Yeah.
But he's looking like he's looking more comfortable now after those starting like those minutes he got before when Freddie Lowry were out.
He got a couple of games where he got to start. Yeah. And then I think he had like 5-6 games where he was getting 30 plus minutes.
Yeah. Off the bench. Yeah.
But in 26 minutes in this game, he had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from 3, with 1 block, no steals, and 3 turnovers. He was hitting clutch shots in that fourth quarter, like to give us the lead.
Yeah,
for sure.
So shout out to him. But
keep grinding, kid. Keep grinding.
If we had OG, this game would have been much different. But I don't even want to look at Bembry's stats right now.
Bembry didn't score in 21 minutes.
Yeah, I heard.
0 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists. All 1 from the field. No free throw attempts. No 3-point attempts. Just 2 steals. Straight to the dome.
Bro.
And he's going to definitely be my under the bus player.
I'll put him in Siakam.
Aaron Baines gets to stay on the bus. But Pascal Siakam, Aaron Baines, and DeAndre Bembry are the guys that are going on the bus. Rodney Hood, I'm only allowing because he hit a clutch 3.
These guys are still learning our system, so I don't think it's fair for us to burden them onto the bus just yet.
I think Birch will step up.
So then, Bravs, based on that statement you just made, maybe we should cut Baines some slack and get him off the bus.
No. Fuck, Baines has been there for at least 3-4 months, man. Like he has no more excuses.
Nerlens Noel, he was a pest on the defensive end. He was blocking shots left, right, and center. He was scaring people from going in the paint.
Noel needs to improve his offense, This guy's offense, when he has a ball, I know he's gonna miss.
Yeah, he had that close floater and he missed that in the fourth quarter. I remember that. Yeah. Nerlens Noel, though, in 28 minutes at 9 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, no 3-point attempts, 1 steal, 4 blocks. Julius Randle already mentioned this. 38 minutes, he had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 of 19 from the field, 11 from the free throw line, 1 of 8 from 3. No defensive stats, had 5 turnovers, but this man came clutch in the fourth quarter with all those free throws, bro.
Yeah.
Like his free throw shooting and his 3-point shooting has improved drastically. Like he looks like a whole different player. And that's the leap that Pascal needs to get to in order
to
be
like,
that
actually
guy.
be the number one.
Yeah, and to show that he deserves that 130 mil that he got paid by Masai Ujiri and MLS.
We're talking about his 3-point shooting, and he made 1 3-pointer and missed 8
Julius
shots.
Randle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a bad game today with the threes.
But I mean, everything else he was doing on the floor.
Yeah. No. He was way more impactful compared to what Siakam did.
RJ Barrett in 33 minutes had 19 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 7 of 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line with 2 steals, no blocks. He was hitting big shots. He was 50% from 3 yesterday. That corner 3 was money for him last night.
It was like a quiet 19 points.
Yeah. When he hit that 3 in the corner, when he was walking back, when we got the timeout, he's like, that's what I do. That's what I do. A lot of people can't handle the New York media. Obviously, COVID helps with that because everyone can't smother him.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the one that's called Maple Mamba? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Barrett, yeah.
He's still handling the New York press and everything properly, but it's not to the full extent it can be if COVID didn't exist.
Yeah.
Especially last season, his rookie season got cut short, right?
Mm-hmm.
With COVID.
Yeah.
Toronto and New York are the worst media market.
Reggie Bullock had that moment where he got a 3-on-1 fast break off a Malachi Flynn steal. He double dribbled the ball and Kyle Lowry ran to the court. Fred VanVleet, yo, bro, like calling out the referees. And hopefully we can find that clip, but that was actually pretty funny to see. Lowry has those moments all the time.
Larry's a comedian.
Yeah,
100%.
every season he has one of those moments. Alec Burks hit a big clutch 3 in that fourth quarter, and he was like dishing it out to Julius Randle for some key buckets. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists in 26 minutes, 2 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from 3. No defensive stats. Alfred Payton, 16 minutes, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from the 3. No free throw attempts, and no defensive stats for him. Derrick Rose, former MVP, been on the New York Knicks team twice. Got traded from the Pistons to the New York Knicks in 23 minutes, 11 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Those are your main key guys for the New York Knicks who actually made a difference to get this W for the Knicks in a big game that they're competing for in terms of playoff contention. We have one more segment left. We talked about who we're throwing under the bus. So we're going with Pascal Siakam as the main guy, DeAndre Bembry because in 21 minutes he did jack shit, and Aaron Baines because he has a forever TTC pass on that bus, right?
100%. No excuses.
Star player of the game, you got to give it to Gary Trent Jr. and Kyle.
Gary Trent and Larry.
Yeah, we can do co-star. We're giving it because Kyle Lowry in his first game back, usually he's rusty, came out and balled out. So we're gonna go co-star.
We'll do co-star, yeah.
Yo, I'm
Trent Jr.
I'm becoming a huge fan of Gary Trent Jr. Yo, becoming a huge fan of him.
Yeah, for sure.
This game, even though we lost, I'm glad to see Burge and Freddie G finally getting the pieces in together. So I'm liking the direction we're heading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
Even though we're losing, it's all in a positive note because like we have young players stepping up and showcasing their skills, right?
Yeah,
it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, so I'm adding on to what Anuja said. We're developing like Malachi Flynn. He's becoming more aware, more alert, and then we're developing the G League guys. Like Watanabe, he's not a G League guy, but we're developing him soon. Freddie G. So it's a good aspect for us because our future is bright. OG, Gary Trent, and all the young gents.
You said we're developing Freddie G, not Freddie V, right?
Yeah, Freddie G.
You said Freddie G.
Okay. Yeah, well,
guys, you're hearing, man. It's like Osmos and the thing yesterday. What was it? Osmos and double.
Burger King. Did you say? Oh, you said McDoubles, right? You said McDouble?
Yeah, double. The coffee. This guy said Osmos.
He's a double.
Oh, coffee. I thought you said McDonald's.
Yeah. See.
Okay, so we're developing these guys with the 2-way contracts. These injuries are blessing in disguises because Malachi Flynn's improvement and his development is going at a fast pace now with him getting important minutes in big games. And then you also got Yuta Watanabe, who's kind of, his offense is coming around. Freddie Glipsy, he's actually getting minutes with that 10-day contract. Finally, a player that's getting minutes with the 10-day contract. A big body, Cam Burge, getting to pick a team he wants to come play for, a team that he grew up watching in the Toronto Raptors. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't liked the video, make sure you like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to it. What are y'all waiting for? Stop slacking, bro. And we'll be back with the post-game podcast after the Atlanta Hawks game Tuesday night. Hopefully get a W, but they are 4th in the East right now, looking like a pretty solid playoff team. Till then, stay blessed, stay woke, and please stay safe. Peace!